My reflection responds to two ideas about poverty that I believe to be essentially true. First, that we bear responsibility for the poor in the world, and secondly, that we need the poor just as much as they need us. While I would love to imagine a world where there is no poverty, I engage in the Christian realism mentioned in the text and accept the fact that the poor are not going anywhere. The world will always have the poor as our economic and social structures demand that this type of stratification exist. As such, it's important for me to realize that the poor provide me with important lessons and opportunities that I need to learn. First and foremost is the reminder that I bear personal responsibility for my own stewardship of resources. While it certainly doesn't look like it, my wife and I really do try to live simply. We're very aware of the culture of waste, and we focus on trying to only buy what we need and to utilize what we have. Furthermore, we try to purchase things secondhand and engage in focused almsgiving and corporal works of mercy through our parish community. As my wife and I met in an overseas volunteer experience in Belize City, we learned then that there are valuable lessons to learn when working with and living with the poor. Therefore, I had you read Nolan's Stages of Helping the Poor. I first read that text when I lived in Belize. All too often, we expect the poor to somehow rise above their circumstances and succeed in a society that is all too often quite hostile toward them. This is what Maslow's hierarchy has to teach us. I have never had to worry about my own physiological needs, my safety, or a sense of love and belonging in my own life. No, those things have always been provided for me from the very start. As such, I have a hard time understanding what it's like to live in a scarcity mentality. So while I can't entirely identify with those experiences, I have deepened my compassion for those experiencing it, especially since I witnessed it firsthand when I worked with the poor in Belize. As a family, we try to support organizations and give alms to those institutions that are focused on the justice work of improving the base situations of the poor. I would like the American dream to be available for as many people as possible, but I know that many of the poor work much harder than I ever have, but they started so far behind that the vast majority, no matter how hard they work, will never reap the privilege that I have had simply by being born in a well-to-do family. As a family, we do continue to struggle with our response to the poor. We believe that legislation for a living wage, a universal basic income, and improvements in education can help improve the living conditions of those at the bottom rungs of the socioeconomic ladder. However, we need to more widely broaden our compassion for the poor and better acknowledge the dignity of all people in order to make wider social justice changes necessary to make a significant difference in the lives of the poor in the United States and around the world. Thanks for listening.